Hi, Kunal. Good morning. Great to have you. Great to connect with you virtually. We would have wished that you were there with us physically today. But fortunately and unfortunately, it's technology which plays such an important role in our lives. And hence, we are connecting with you.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Apur. Lovely, lovely connecting with you.
Right. So, Kunal, I'll get straight to the point. We are talking about some promising entrepreneurs. We are talking about the startup ecosystem in India today. And congratulations to you on your ventures and your startups. It has absolutely been in the news. Everybody, a lot of people are talking about it. I would want to start because there are a lot of entrepreneurs and potential entrepreneurs, potential startup owners and founders that are listening in to us today. I want to understand what compelled you or what inspired you to take the plunge.
Well, for me, it sort of happened very naturally. I was always sort of drawn towards social entrepreneurship. I always felt like that was an area that I'd like to do something in. And I was working closely with a number of NGOs, a lot of organizations in the social space, and I found that there were challenges that these organizations were facing, and that it was easy to address these challenges using technology. I came across so many people that could help and so many people that needed help. And these were people that weren't coming together, unfortunately. And I felt like if we could use technology to build a bridge between these people, it could become something that was very powerful. And that's how, I mean, Keto was born. Keto is the abbreviation for Key to Tomorrow, because we felt like the democratization of capital would actually be the key to tomorrow. And I think so that's how my journey began. But I think for anyone that's starting off, I think there's a few key things. I think one is to identify something that you're very passionate about. I was very, like I said, passionate about the social space, and I wanted to sort of make a difference in that space. So I think, obviously entrepreneurship is not an easy ride. Uh, you know, it's always filled with challenges and ups and downs. So you've got to be very passionate about what you're doing and passionate about what you're trying to build. And I think that sort of passion and patience and perseverance is what sort of carries you through. I remember I remember something that always stays with me, and I think that's really an important thing for early entrepreneurs is that we had gone to meet somebody. We were looking for a bunch of investors for the company when we started off, and we went to meet this one particular investor, and he said, "Look, I don't believe this is going to work crowdfunding in India because Indians are not charitable, and why do you want to get into this? Why don't you get into e-commerce? Because at that point in time, e-commerce was something that was very popular." So he was
Right.
like, you're an actor, you should build a brand, do something like that. Why, social entrepreneurship and crowdfunding? And we were leaving, and he said, "Look, I just have one thing to say to you is that," and he's like, I say this to all the entrepreneurs that I meet, is that it's not important whether I believe in your idea or not. It's important that you believe in your idea. And
Right.
if you believe in your idea, then, maybe 5 years down the line, I'll look back and I'll say that I should have believed in the idea then. And sure enough, 5 years later, he invested in the company. And I think that's exactly
Yeah.
what I'm talking about is passion and perseverance. I think that's really important if you're an entrepreneur.
So I think that is a story that a lot of entrepreneurs will identify with, right? Whether it is a social or a non-social, startup, uh, talking to the investors, getting them on board. I think that is one of the biggest obstacles that everybody faces. I'm glad, and I'm also glad that you shared the story. I think that will resonate very well with a lot of people who are listening in to us. So, it's interesting that you also had to undergo that because a lot of people will feel that because you are maybe better connected than a lot of other people. Maybe you have better reach. A lot of people will feel that your journey might be a little easier than some of the other entrepreneurs that we see. Has that been the case with you?
I think it just obviously helps with access because I mean, if you're somebody that's just starting off and you're new, to get access to people is difficult because you're somebody that is recognized. I think the access becomes much easier. And I think a friend of mine put it really interestingly. He's a VC. He runs a fund, and he said that entrepreneurship is like bodybuilding. It's a lot of hard work. You've got to turn up every day, make sure the diet is right, put in the hours in the gym. So it's a lot of hard work, and having a entrepreneur, having a face that is known, is like bodybuilding with steroids. It just becomes easier and faster, but it's still a lot of hard work, and it's still a lot of struggle, and you still have to put in the hours, and you still have to make sure that the diet is right. But it just becomes slightly easier.
Right, right. And Kunal, you mentioned that, of course, I think passion is the biggest driver behind doing something like this. And of course, uh, have you seen any difference in terms of characteristics? I'm sure in your journey you've met a lot of people who have gone into the social side of entrepreneurship, right? So is there a defining characteristic that you see between social entrepreneurs, or vis-a-vis, or compare in comparison to the traditional sort of entrepreneurs who's uh, who have dreams of really making it big, becoming $1 billion company, becoming a unicorn? Is that characteristically different from the social entrepreneurs?
Well, I think what I would think is the biggest need, I think, for social entrepreneurship, or me as a social entrepreneur, is sustainability, and a need for contribution as well. You know what I mean? Uh, I think the way we are growing right now, I feel, is not sustainable. I think we have a lot of challenges like climate change and inequality and a lot more challenges. And I think what social entrepreneurs are trying to do is to create a whole sort of alternate engine of growth, engine of growth uh, that is far more sustainable. And I think sustainability is something that I find very much in common with social entrepreneurs that I meet. I mean, I've had a chance, like I said, to work with a lot of NGOs and a lot of people in the social space, and I found that I found was always challenging for them because they are dependent on grants and donations, right? So it's always challenging. Then you have the other side, which is entrepreneurship, and like I said, I don't feel like that is sustainable. I think that has to change. So I feel like social entrepreneurship is a combination of the two, right? The best of both the worlds, which is, one is, of course, creating something that is led by business, so you don't have to depend on others, and the other is trying to power growth, but trying to power growth with sustainability. So I think those are factors that I found in common with all the social entrepreneurs I've met, is a need for contribution.
Right, right. Makes sense. Uh, and talking about social media, I think Keto has done really well. We have all been, looking at the work being done by Keto. It's absolutely visible out there. How has your journey with Keto been so far? I mean, do you think you have achieved, or are you on the right track to achieve what you set out to do with Keto?
Well, it's been very challenging for sure. To begin with, I mean, when we started off, crowdfunding was something that nobody spoke about. It was, we had to create awareness and education, not only in the people that were donating, but also the people that were going to raise money, because nobody knew that an alternate like this sort of exists in the first place. So it was about creating an ecosystem where nothing existed. That, I
Right.
think, will be very, very challenging, of course. So it's been a ride which is filled with ups and downs, and speed breakers and all that. But it's been very satisfying, because at the end of the day, like I said, when you're part of a business that is contributing and making a difference, it can be very, very satisfying. So it has been something that has been challenging, but I think for us, what is very important is that I feel like we've only just scratched the surface. We've seen a lot of growth in the last couple of years, but I think we've only just begun, because, like I said, crowdfunding is just something that is becoming popular now. Now there's a lot of people that are turning towards crowdfunding for multiple sort of needs. And for me, I think what is very important, and for the team, is that, look, we're right now operating in most of the urban centers. We've just started going into the tier 2, tier 3 cities, into the small towns. And I think the need there is the most. That's
Right.
where you have people that need help the most. That's where you have people that are most underserved. So for us, I think our goal and our aim has always been is that how do we reach out to the most marginalized people in society? And I think we've only just begun that journey. Like I said, we only scratched the surface, and we have a long way to go. I think that for me is really important. The other thing is that I often think about if we can crowdfund for medical needs and we can crowdfund for social needs. I would love to be in a place where we can eventually crowdfund for infrastructure needs as well.
Right.
Areas where the government can't pay attention to right now, or corporates are not interested in right now. If we can sort of look into those areas like medical research, areas like, I mean, something as simple as, I stay close to the beach. And if the beach needed to be cleaned up, if we could form a small society of people that would come together that use the beach often,
Right.
that would, sort of crowdfund for something that would keep the beach clean, for instance. So I'm saying that those are areas that I would love to sort of look into and develop into. That I think is very important for us.
And Kunal, has the pandemic sort of played a catalyst kind of a role? One is with Keto. I mean, of course, there's been a lot of attention, I think, to more of these humanitarian crises, more of these, I would say, people sort of challenges post the pandemic. Has that accelerated, the adoption of a crowdfunding company like Keto? That is one. And second, what next for Keto?
I think, of course, like you're saying, I mean, the post-pandemic world is very different
Right.
in terms of just sheer internet adoption, whether it's for social cause like giving somebody or contributing to someone's life, or whether it's shopping or education or even communication. I'm actually quite amazed at how, as human beings, we have the ability to adapt to situations so quickly. I mean, I just had a show that released, and usually what happens is you travel from city to city, meeting journalists, and you speak to people, and you go on to go to radio stations for interviews, and suddenly all that is now happened on Zoom. Even
Right.
this is Zoom now, And initially that felt a little challenging and felt like a little strange, but now it's just become part of our lives. I mean, last week I had to sign a check, and I felt like I've forgotten how to sign a check because I haven't done one in 2 years. I haven't signed a check in 2 years. We make all our payments online, and something
Right.
that was just such a large part of our lives is now been phased out. So I think obviously the post-pandemic world and the world of internet adoption has just been accelerated in a huge way. For us, like I said, first of all, we're just beginning because crowdfunding is just something that is becoming popular in this country. And how I realized how powerful crowdfunding is that, I have a friend of mine who has a daughter that's 10 years old, and she was sitting and watching television with her dad, and the migrant crisis was happening at that point of time. And she said, Dad, I don't want to just sit and watch. I want to do something. So he called me up, and he said that she wants to start a crowdfunding campaign. Can you help her? I said, sure. I mean, she's 10 years old. And she started a campaign, and she ended up raising 12 lakh rupees. So for me, the fact that somebody who's that young wants to turn around and say that, look, I don't want to watch, I want to make a difference, and we can provide them the avenue to make a difference, I think is something that is very, very powerful. The other thing that we are developing at Keto is, I think what's really important is the power of community. And we are developing an app to sort of bring community together and leverage the power of that community. That's something that we've been working on for a while now.
Right. Great to hear that, Kunal. Finally, I think you must have been asked this question multiple times. When you started to, take the entrepreneurial plunge, you had a lot of things going on for you. I'm sure you had your, moments when you thought that, am I doing the right thing? Any message that you would want to give to the entrepreneurs?
Well, I feel like, firstly, as a society, we have to start encouraging risk taking. I think that's very important. We've got to sort of destigmatize failure. And if you are turning, into an entrepreneur and looking to start a company, I think it's very important to sort of embrace the fact that you might fail and be ready for that. It's very difficult, but that is something that you have to keep in your mind, because we hear all the success stories, but we never hear about the failures. So you have to be ready for that, and you have to be willing for that. But I think what I've learned to be the most important thing is, I think patience and perseverance, of course, and passion, like I said. but is to constantly learn and learn from people that you meet. Don't be afraid to reach out to people and say that I don't understand. I want to understand better. Constantly read up about the areas that you're looking to develop a business in. Constantly be open to new information. I try and attend as many conferences as I can. I try and meet up with as many minds that I can learn from, because I think that's really important. When you're trying to build a startup, is how much can you listen to people and also listen to your audience. I mean, that's I think the commonality between me being an actor and entrepreneur is that you really have to learn how to listen to your audience. I mean, you might work on a film for a year and a half, and it releases on Friday and it fails. And you might turn around and say, look, the audience doesn't understand what I'm trying to do. Or you might turn around and say that, why didn't they get what I was trying to do? Where did I fail? Or what was it that I could do differently? So I think as an entrepreneur, you have to also be open to that. You've got to allow yourself to fail. And when you fail, you've got to learn from that failure and, reach out to people and understand what was it that went wrong and how can I make this better? I think those are things that are really important, is learn to listen. I think that I think would be the tip that I would give any entrepreneur that's starting off.
Last question, Kunal, and in fact, you almost answered the question for me. I wanted to ask you, what are the major similarities that you've seen between your profession as an actor and profession as an entrepreneur? You said that of course be ready to accept failure and take failure as it comes to you. That is one, of course. Other than that, what are the similarities that you see in both these professions?
I think people don't realize how creative you have to be an entrepreneur. It's looked at something that is a business, but I think it requires great creativity to change something that has existed in a certain way. You have to be creative. You have to tell your story creatively, whether it's to an audience or like somebody that is an investor. You have to be able to do that. I think so. Creativity is a really important part of it, of being an entrepreneur and an actor, of course. The other thing is, like I said, you've got to listen to your audience. You've got to be open to the feedback that you get. The third thing is confidence. I think that's really important. I mean, as an actor, you're out there alone in front of the camera, putting yourself out there. There's nobody to support you during that moment. It comes down to how confident you are about what you're doing. And similarly, as an entrepreneur, I think you have to be really confident and put yourself out there. Like I said, there was that investor that we met who said, it doesn't matter whether I believe in you or not. What's important is that you believe in yourself. And I think that is something that is very common between the two of them.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for those words of wisdom, Kunal. It's been fantastic catching up with you. And all the best for your journey with Ketto.
Thank you. Thanks so much, man. Lovely speaking to you.
Thank you so much for the time.
Take care. Bye.